Hi, it's Anne here, and today's Get Ready with me is going to be like a flip of the one I did a few weeks ago where I did everything under $10. So this video is everything definitely over $10, and it's everything that's like the most expensive in each category in my collection. It's not entirely each category because I wanted to do a parallel with what I did in my last video. So like I didn't use an eye primer in my last video. I didn't use a lip liner. I didn't use a liquid eyeliner. So I kept those categories out. And in this particular video, we're just going to go with like kind of like a 1-for-1. Also, I don't want to say cheat, but I did kind of cheat a little, I guess, because it might not be the most expensive product in my collection, but it's definitely one of the most expensive in some of these categories, just because I was a little lazy to like really go into super detail on that. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna start with the eyes first, and the most expensive, this is like too big, here we go. The most expensive palette, at least dollar value, total value I have, is the Pat McGrath. What was this called? It was called the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey palette. This is from, I don't have a sticker on it. I usually try and put stickers on things. I want to say 2021, holiday 2021. So it's a big palette. Kind of to my caveat before, this is the most expensive, at least dollar value palette. It was $103. I think I did not spend that. I think I got it during a sale, but what am I trying to say? Oh my God, I'm so tired this morning. I didn't go to the depth of like figuring out which eyeshadow palette had the most expensive shadows. Like I didn't do like a per shadow cost because I feel like if I did that, probably the Charlotte Tilbury quad would have been up there. Potentially the Natasha Denona palettes would have been more expensive than this. But from a wholesale palette, this one's the most expensive one. I am talking way too much. Let's just get into this. For today's look, I'm going to go in kind of with like the browns, bronzy-ish. I don't know. We're going to play with it. It's not going to be super colorful because I want to make a look that's cohesive with the rest of the makeup that I've picked. So we're going to probably go with like a brownish, bronzy-ish type look. So just going in with like a medium type brown. Got a fluff. I always have a fluff. It always drives me crazy. I always have a fluff. I don't want to say always, but often I have a fluff in my hair while I'm filming. And for whatever reason, I never notice it when I'm like setting up. And then I go to edit the video and I'm like, God dang it, there's a fluff. So I will say right off the bat, so I wanted to kind of see comparison-wise how this look will kind of play together in comparison to the everything under, like in terms of quality. The one thing that's going to be just a very difficult one-to-one quality comparison is the eyeshadow. You can't compare an e.l.f. Bite Size shadow to this palette. Like obviously the pigmentation is a lot more in this palette. There's a lot more colors. I'll be interested to see how the rest of the face goes, but I feel like from an eyeshadow perspective, they're not the same. Like I can't compare them one-to-one. This one is obviously better quality than the e.l.f. one. But again, the e.l.f. one is good quality for the price. Like if you are on a budget, and again, I think for the everyday person, the e.l.f. bite-size palettes are great. Like they're kind of no-brainer palettes. I was looking at this palette earlier and I wanted to kind of I was going to go in with certain shades, but then this shade here kind of piqued my interest. I'm not sure if I've really used it. It's a little dry because it's very glittery, but I want to use it today. I'm also not using an eyeshadow primer though. Oh, it's not as dry. Now that I've kind of like rubbed my finger in, I'm also not using an eyeshadow primer, so that plays into this. Okay, I'm going to go in with this deep shade over on the side here, and we're going to just deepen up the outer corner. I'm also using expensive brushes today, so kind of like last time where I was kind of focusing on cheaper brushes, I'm definitely not selecting brushes. So I just used my Wayne Goss brush. This is a Sonia G brush. Both of those came in lucky bags. I have not purchased expensive brushes myself. They've all come in like subscription things for me. Or they would have been like a Winners, Marshalls, TJ Maxx kind of purchase. I really like this Sonia G brush because it's super fine tipped, and if you like to get into like detail or you want to place a shadow in a very specific spot, I feel like it's such a good brush. I really like this brush. I need to clean my brushes too. Please don't judge me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrible for that. I love to say that I wash my brushes and my sponges. Oh, where is my sponge, by the way? Oh, there it is. Never mind. I'd love to say that I wash them like once a week. We're lucky if we get once a month. I'm just being honest. That's 100% true. I do like, so I have, I always put down a tea towel, and I use that to kind of swipe off the powder to change between like shades. And I do have like a little switch thing too that I use. Well, I have an official switch thing, I think, yes. But I use a bun thing, like the little thing that you use to create a bun. It's the same concept. The only thing about that is because it's just standalone, the shadows do sort of fall through it. So you kind of have to put it down on a surface, like put it on like a tea towel or a tray or something, because you will make a mess with that. Okay, I'm going to stop with the eyes for now, but we're going to come back to the eyes. We're going to move on to the face. The first thing I'm going to go in with actually this time is concealer. I'm going to use my NARS Soft Matte Concealer in Creme Brulee. I have two of these. I have Cannelle and Creme Brulee. I'll swatch them for you so you can see the difference between the two shades. Cannelle is the first one that I bought, and then I just kind of realized it's definitely, it's a little dark for me. It works very much as like a neutralizer. Especially, it's good for me in the summer, but I feel like most times it's not the greatest. So that's Cannelle, and that's Creme Brulee. So you can see the difference there. And Creme Brulee's got that pinker undertone, which for me, again, cool undertones works a lot better. Yeah, this is definitely the most expensive concealer I have, and pretty much all of my other concealers are like drugstore concealers. I don't have a lot of high-end concealers. I have a few Benefit ones, but they're minis. I'm trying to think of any other. I've tried the other, like the regular NARS, like creamy concealer. I never liked it. It could have been a shade thing though too, because I think I bought whatever the shade that was super popular that everybody else bought. I was like, oh, that doesn't work for me at all. It came in a kit actually, and I don't know. I didn't like it. I really like this one. I feel like, even though I have more mature skin, and you would think that this would be kind of dry. I know Kat from Beauty News, she had talked about, she loved this before, and then now that she's kind of like transitioned, like she's had her baby and stuff, her skin has changed, and it sounds like her skin's got more combo. She actually doesn't like this as much anymore, but I can see that. I can see, you know, it's really going to be personal preference. The thing I like about this the most is I feel like once I put it down, it stays. It doesn't move around. So that's a big factor for me with having very wrinkly under eyes that are very animated. I feel like it doesn't migrate. It sort of stays put, and I don't need to set it. So I don't need to put a powder on it and make it even more dry. That makes sense. For the face, so this was an interesting discovery for me. So I really encourage you to do this because it's been kind of fun to like look at my collection in a very different retrospective type way that I haven't really done before. And I talked about in my last under 10 video that it was really hard to find a foundation that was under $10. I also found it really hard to find like a super expensive foundation in my collection because I clearly just don't buy expensive foundations, and I have a hard time finding super cheap ones. It's all mid-range for me. It's all between like $10 to $30. But I do have, and unfortunately this product is like no longer in existence, but this is my most expensive foundation. I have two Becca foundations, but we're gonna go with this one because I think the other one's gonna get decluttered. I don't really like the other one. This one is a full coverage one too, so I don't use it very much. But yeah, you obviously can't buy this anymore. But for me, it was the most expensive foundation. For a lot of these products, I've put the price down that you could pay for it today. Obviously, this is not one, so I put the retail price that it was when I bought it. However, I do want to make a caveat. I feel like a broken record. I'm really going to try and not like get saucy about this. But I mostly went to like brand websites because Sephora has upped the price on everything. That's when I noticed, I'll talk about a product later on that I bought just a few months ago. they bumped it up like $4, I think. It was either $2 or $4, and I was like, holy shit. But on the brand website, still the original price that I paid for it. So yeah, I'm curious. So like, I know that's true for Sephora Canada. I'm curious if I haven't checked to see if that occurred in the States. Can anybody tell me, has Sephora in the States like increased in the past few weeks things like products by a lot? Even not a lot, but like, even we have some products that are like 50 cents. It's like $35.50. I'm like, when did that happen? When did Sephora do 50s? Like very rarely, maybe for like a mini or something, or like a kit, but I don't know. It's super annoying. I'm super annoyed. So yeah, I decided to go with, even though if I use the Sephora price, it would inflate this whole project higher, like it would be even more expensive. I felt like it was almost disingenuous to do that, because I feel like Sephora was being disingenuous by raising the prices. Like, it's clearly not worth that. It's clearly not worth that, because a month ago it was worth less, and the world has not drastically changed in the last month. Like, we got no supply chain things anymore that we can blame stuff on, or like whole scale world changes where everybody's at home or something. Like, it just, I don't know. And I've said this in another video that I feel like it's a super dick move to do right before the holidays. Like, I feel like they totally did this right before people started, like, all the holiday kits started coming out. And then all of a sudden the prices went up. And I'm like, do they not realize we have the internet and we have a memory? Like, this would have been different. I feel like a long time ago, the only way you could compare prices is if you like made a note of prices and flyers. Like, flyers was the big thing that it would be obvious, but even then it would be hard, especially shrinkflation. It's hard, even now it's hard to find shrinkflation things, because I find certain brands don't always post the volume of their product on their website, and you have to dig for it. And I only notice this because I do all my pricing stuff. So like, if I buy a mini of something, or if I get a sample of something, or yeah, I'm comparing prices, I look like, I do like the per mil or the per gram. And some websites really hide that information, or some brands really hide that information. So just very interesting that we have, like, we can compare all of this now. Like, it's obvious. So I don't know. And I don't know when it's going to end. I think that's the thing. It's just like, it keeps going up and up and up and up. When is it going to end? I guess never. Like, prices always go up, but I just feel like it's been a lot recently. You know what I mean? Like, price increases every, I don't know, 3 to 5 years seems reasonable to me. Like, 5 years. 5 years seems reasonable to me. Like, the world changes enough in 5 years that maybe a price increase around then makes sense, but within months seems a bit harsh. Okay, I'm actually going to go in with my bronzer first before I powder my face. And again, another NARS product. In this case, I really didn't try and differentiate brands that much compared to with my under $10, because under $10 I had a bit more wiggle room. The most expensive product is supposed to be the most expensive product, so that just means it's the most expensive product in the category. So I have the NARS Cream Bronzer in Laguna here, so that's the second NARS product. So yeah, there's a few brands. They're clearly the brands that I have purchased that are more expensive. There's clearly a few brands that I like, and it's kind of obvious, I think. NARS being one of them. So yeah, I really like this bronzer. I think it works really well in terms of, like, you can build it up or you can, play it down. There are other shades too. I haven't tried the other shades, but I mean, you get a massive amount of product in this too. Like, I think I'm pretty happy with this product. I'm glad I purchased it. I know, what is it? Andrea Metello, I don't know if I said her name right. She talks about Makeup Revolution one, so that's another option that's probably pretty comparable and way more affordable than this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then we'll come back. I do the same thing every time with my bronzer. I do a lot, like, because I have such a big forehead, and I have, like, no definition. That's what I use it for. It's like a contour bronzy, and, like, to warm up my face in general, because I feel like once you do that foundation, it's very flat. So the powder I'm going to go in with is this Mercier one. This is my most expensive powder, and it is a mini because it's from the birthday thing last year. I haven't really used it a whole lot, just because I've been trying to use some older stuff. I have used this in the past. I know I really like it. It's a good powder. I think it's worth the price for this one. I've considered like repurchasing it, although because I got this mini, I was like, I want to kind of play with the mini. This mini though, like trying to get some of this product out is a little tricky. Not a great sifter. Like normally when you do that, you get like a crap ton in here. There we go. Now we're getting some stuff. Gotta bang it. Just want to lightly powder today. That foundation is fairly matte. It's mostly to blend this bronzer in. I've talked about that in a few previous videos where I use powder now. Like I've sort of rearranged how I do things. I used to like do the foundation and then set it right away and then come in with like bronzer, blush, highlight. I've been doing bronzer, blush, and highlight, at least bronzer for sure, and then powdering because I feel like it's helping blend things a little bit better, making things look a little bit more seamless. The blush for me was an easy one. I knew which one was the most expensive. It's this guy. It is the Charlotte Tilbury. They call this the Cheek to Chic, Swish and Glow blusher in the shade Pillow Talk. I actually bought this off of Reddit, like a makeup reseller. So I didn't pay full price for this. I don't think I would, to be honest. It's fine. It's a nice blush, but I think blush is a category where you can definitely get cheaper products for just as good quality. I mean, is it nice? Sure, it's pretty. And I feel fancy. I feel fancy using it. It's one of those products in my collection, though, that I haven't used a whole lot, so it looks like pristine. And I've had this since 2020. But yeah, like it's a pretty color. It's really, really pretty, but you can definitely get comparables. Just going to use a bit of my powder brush to re-blend that out. And then my highlight is going to be from the same brand. It's this guy, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is now in my project pan. And yeah, other than that, though, I don't really have, I think the Ofra highlight is like my most expensive. It's funny how like for me, highlight is like, I am not going to spend a lot of money on a highlight. Although, I mean, I'm not sure the price, but I'm definitely in the like, I'd like to buy that Rare Beauty one that everybody's like fawning about. But I have not. The other product that like really has piqued my interest, but I try and only do one ColourPop order a year, I might have to break that rule this year, is the new Sailor Moon. There's like the new highlighter and there's like a new palette, and I'm like, man, I really want those. I did want the Haunted Mansion one too, the Haunted Mansion palette, but that's fine. The 1111 looks really nice, but it's so duplicative of other stuff that I have, that it's not worth it, but it is pretty. Like if you don't have, like people are putting, there's tons of comparisons online for other palettes. Like if you don't have a comparable palette, it's a really nice one, especially if you're looking for an alternative to the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. I like the look of that palette. A lot of people were like, oh, it's so cool toned. It's not. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not cool toned. It's a nice, like, you know, a range of natural, neutral type colors, but is it original? No. And do I need it? No. Like, do I want it? Sure. Like, I'd take it. If it was given to me, sure. Like, if it came up in a lucky bag, which I highly doubt it would, I would be mad. I would be happy to have it, but I need to say, like, you know, if I'm just making decisions on what's worth it to me or what I'm going to spend my money on, that's just not what I'm going to spend my money on. I think I have a bit of bad taste in my mouth with that, with the whole like leaking, because apparently, like, I don't know, I get the sense that it's happening, they're doing it on purpose. And it just bugs me because there's another palette that's been leaked, and I'm just like, why do you gotta be like that? We're going to transition now back to the eyes. So in last video, I did do a single shadow, so we're gonna do a single shadow again. And actually, I just realized this was the kit. This was the birthday kit. Well, actually, not this specific one, but this is the Mercier Caviar stick. This is the one that I bought in Moonlight, which is a little bit brighter than the strapless one that came in the birthday kit. So we're going to use this sort of like inner corner highlight just to brighten things up. It's not the right shade because it's a little more cool toned, but strapless isn't as bright. So I felt like this would be a better choice. And it is my most expensive. Oh, and Hopefully I put this in my buys and buys. I did swatch the Kiko Milano one with the ColourPop one, and they're like the same color. The ColourPop one has a slightly deeper base, and then it shifts light to be the exact same as the Kiko one. So I actually like the ColourPop one, I think, a little bit more than the Kiko Milano one. And they both, like, I did like a rub test, and they're both like they're like the same product. It's like, well then, good to know that they are the same. My eyeliner next. So the eyeliner that I have that's the most expensive is my Urban Decay liners. I've really enjoyed these. I used to buy these as like holiday things. They used to always have like trios and things. They don't seem to do that anymore. And as of right now, they're $32 on the Urban Decay website, which is just a little pricey. So I probably won't buy these again in the future unless I get like a discount, like a good discount, like a kit. Or like Winners and Marshalls or something like that. Because I just feel like while I like them, I think there's enough alternatives out there that I don't need to buy these anymore, especially at that price. This one is in the shade Bourbon. I also have Rockstar and Smoke. I definitely have a few favorite shades in that I miss. Like I do miss Perversion. Like the black version is very, very black. And I really like it. They have two blacks. They have Zero and then they have Perversion. And I like Rockstar because, again, I like that shade. There's also a blue shade. I can't remember what it's called. There's another brown shade that I like better than this. This one's a little bit light. I forget what it's called. But it's very comparable to the Milani one I have on Hooked on Espresso. Espresso, not Espresso. Basically the same thing. So that's why I just haven't bought the Urban Decay one. And my most expensive mascara is my Merit mascara. I have had other expensive mascaras, especially like from Top Box and BoxyCharm and in minis. But I, in general, don't purchase expensive mascaras because I think you can get just as good a decent ones. I don't know if that was English. In the drugstore. Especially like, I feel like Essence, Maybelline. I like some CoverGirl mascaras. I haven't really tried. There's two brands I'm super intrigued by that I haven't really tried. And these are candidates for a future mascara video. I haven't done a mascara video this year, I don't think, because I needed to cool it on it because I have way too many mascaras. But I think I might do a Rimmel one and or a Milani one next year. I feel like those might be two brands that would be nice to find if they have like a really good mascara. Because Rimmel, especially here in Canada, Rimmel's a more affordable brand. Milani's kind of pricey here. But, I mean, you can definitely get it on sale and stuff. But like off the top of my head, those are not brands where I think of, they're not known for their mascara, if that makes sense. I can't think of anybody that's raved about a Milani or a Rimmel mascara. I'm just going to go in with a bit of shadow on my bottom lash line because I feel like I need to smoke that out a little bit more. I'm just going to take the crease shade and put that down there. All right, we got two things left. Eyebrows. So my most expensive eyebrow product is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power. Prior to this, I've had a lot of ABH ones that are definitely expensive, and I do like the ABH ones. Not really a fan of the brand anymore, but I do like the ABH ones for sure. But I feel like drugstore and cheaper brands have definitely upped their game in terms of brow products. I think what ABH, why they were head and shoulders above a lot of other brands was shade. I think they had a really good shade range that a lot of other brands were just missing the mark on. I'm going to do these off camera because my brows they are who they are. Let's not judge them, okay? Let's just give them the love that they deserve, but we'll do it off camera because I can't really talk and do them at the same time. Okay, I have eyebrows. I always find eyebrows really funny because I feel like when I was doing my face, like pre-eyebrow, it's like it looked like something was missing, and now that I've done my eyebrows, it's like, okay, they're a little bit more complete. But back in the day, like I never did eyebrows. I don't think I did. I think I filled in a little bit where it was like a bit blank, but I didn't like do the whole thing. I don't know. Anyway, eyebrows are a funny thing. It just drives me crazy because I just want to do, I talk about this every time. If it wasn't so expensive, I would definitely do a brow lift, and it's not off the table. Let's just say that. But like, if I could just do this on this side And maybe a little of this on this side. Look at that. Like, it's not even a huge difference, but man. And then they're there. Okay, let's stop. Again, I love you, eyebrows. You are who you are. Lip product. So, last lip product. So, this is another category where I've cheated a little. This is the NARS. I forget the full name of this. It'll be on the screen. It is the most expensive product that I bought recently. Actually, this is one that I wanted to look up online. Let me just look it up right now. It's called the NARS Afterglow Sensual Shine Hydrating Lipstick in Devotion. I paid $38 for this. The reason why I'm kind of cheating on this is because it is the most expensive one that I've bought recently. But technically, so yeah, it is now $44 on Sephora Canada. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I bought that in July. In July. It's still on NARS site, and on the Bay, it's still $38. But Sephora, like, I'm so annoyed. I do have an Hourglass lipstick that is more expensive than this. It came in a Lucky Charms Lucky box. Although that's on its last legs. I did wear it the other day, so that's one of the reasons why I didn't put it in this video. It makes me sad because it's like basically new. It's basically full, but it's gonna get decluttered. So I was like, let's not talk about that. And then technically, the Pat McGrath, even though I only have a mini, the Pat McGrath lipstick is probably the most expensive lipstick, like as a full-size lipstick that I would have. But you saw that color. If you didn't watch the video, go check out that color in my lip kit video. It is not pretty. And because I'm not using a lip liner in this video, we're gonna go with this guy. This is in the shade Devotion. I think I said that already. And I just really like this lip product, and I knew it was gonna work. It was gonna work cohesively with the rest of the look. So yeah, let me fix my hair, and we'll come back and wrap this video up. I think I did this in my last video. I forgot the setting spray. So this guy, I only have 2 setting sprays. Well, like I said, I have 2 of these, the all-nighter. I have the all-nighter and I have the Wet n Wild. So I am in the market for new setting spray. I want to try something different. I know I really like this, but I'm open to trying something new. So if you have suggestions on what your favorite setting spray is, high-end or affordable, I'd really like to know, because I'm probably going to buy, I don't know about this year, but definitely next year for sure. Between this year and next year, I will be buying some new setting sprays to try out. So let's just give this a little... Whew. I just feel like things are complete, and they're like, we're good. We're good. We're ready to go. I'm ready for the day. I really like this look, actually. It's turned out really, really pretty. I'm really happy with this. It feels very fall, too. So yeah, that is this video. I've really enjoyed, like, again, looking at my collection from a very different perspective for, like, the cheapest products versus the most expensive products. It's interesting in my collection. I feel like I have a lot of mid-range stuff. Like, I feel like I have more stuff on the lower end and mid-range, and then I definitely have expensive stuff, but it's like I have 1 or 2 in each category, if that makes sense. And when I was looking at all this stuff, it was like things came in kits. I bought them on sale. They were definitely not full price. I think one of the things that I bought maybe mostly full price would be the NARS items. The NARS items for me are worth it. I feel like, I don't know, that was the other thing too. I was like, man, I had 1, 2, 3 NARS products, 2 Laura Mercier products, 2 Charlotte Tilbury products, 2 Becca products. Oh, I didn't use my primer. I totally forgot my primer. It was like 2 Becca products, but we didn't use the primer. So this was the primer that I was supposed to use. I told you I was tired when I started this video. This is the Becca Backlight priming filter. It is the most expensive primer I have. All my other primers, I do have the Benefit Professional, and then the rest are like affordable ones. So again, this was kind of in the category of this. I can't repurchase it, so the value that I just used for this was what it would have been had I paid full price for it at the time that I bought this. I bought this at Winners and Marshalls, so I did have like the retail value from that time. So now that we're talking about numbers, let's talk about numbers. So in total, I think I was around $100 for everything under $10 for this video. The total is approximately $568. So what is that, like 5.6 times the price? I would say that the look, I do like this look. I think the eyes are kind of what throws it a little because I feel like this eye look is much prettier, but it's definitely much more intense. So like I feel like the e.l.f. look is a great for every day. This is definitely maybe a bit much like to go to the office in, but I could have done a bit more of a downplayed eye look, I guess. But I feel like from a face product perspective, I feel like the under $10 face products were just as good. I feel like everything looks good. I don't know if anyone could tell if my other face was a $100 face versus this one being like a $500 face. Like, would anybody know that? Probably not. And I just find that interesting. I find it interesting to muse and think about that. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.